everyone. I wanted to make this first video as an introduction to myself and what my channel is going to be about. So thank you for being here and for watching. My name is Misty, and I have been a stay-at-home parent for 20 years and a homeschooling mom for 15. Technically, we were homeschooling our oldest before he was school age, but that's just kind of our life philosophy. And so I am at home a lot. Scratch that. My kids have been taking classes at a resource center for homeschoolers for, this is our 8th year now. So actually we're on the road a lot. We drive through rush hour traffic to get to this place for them to take classes, and it's an amazing place. And while the traffic is hard and I sit and I wait for them, it's been very good for them, very good for us, very good to add on to homeschooling because I'm having a hard time doing it by myself. So I'm starting this channel because I need something to do while I sit and wait for them. So I'm hoping that you will enjoy this adventure with me. I've been scrapbooking and card making and crafting pretty much, I'd say crafting all my life. Scrapbooking since my first was born in 1999. And I was actually card making before that. I started with an old copy of Print Shop Deluxe on the computer. So I started digitally, and then as funds and availability of products happened, I switched over to doing things by hand, and I actually prefer it that way, even though technology has expanded tremendously. I like touching things, and so crafting by hand makes me the happiest. I do still do some digital, but I really do enjoy the hands-on. So I have a scrapbook room here. It's in my basement. As you can see, I've got cement walls and cracks because I am in a basement, and I actually have a video coming for you of a tour of my craft space so you can see where I am and where I'm working. We all like to peek into each other's houses, so you can peek into mine. So what is my channel going to be about? Mainly it's going to be about paper crafts because that's what I've done the most of. But as you notice, my title is called Crafty Soup, and that soup is a blending of all the things that I find satisfying to craft, and that includes food. Although I'm not a huge cook, I'm not a foodie, I do enjoy being in the kitchen periodically. I wouldn't say all the time. But so I might bring you some food videos, and my youngest daughter loves to craft and also to cook, so she might join us for some of that stuff. I might bring you some gardening videos because just like making beautiful design on a piece of paper, I like to attempt to make beautiful design in my garden. But when things die, it's a little harder. Paper doesn't do that, so I will be including kids crafts because I do have kids and we have crafted together. And I taught a kids greeting card making class for 4 years, and that was a lot of fun. I'm taking a break this year and I'm thinking some things over, trying to decide if I want to go back to that or not. We'll see how that goes. I actually haven't done much scrapbooking in the last couple of years because I've been kind of down and been a little frustrated with some things in the industry. I used to go to scrapbooking events and crops, and those have dwindled, as have many stores going out of business. I was a little frustrated with so much of the new product coming out being really similar to other companies, and there not being enough distinction out there. So there was, I think, here's an example. So many product lines have featured blue and aqua over the last few years, and I'm still seeing that happening now. And I was a little tired of it, so that had me down a little bit. And then all of the smaller companies being bought up by one bigger company, and I think that company is a good company, and I don't have a problem with them, I have a problem when so many things get consumed by one organization. I think we have fewer choices, and I'm hoping that doesn't happen, but we'll see. What do I plan on bringing you on a regular basis? Like I said, it's going to be mostly paper crafts. I have some ideas for some segments that we'll be working on. One of them will be kit talk. So I have really enjoyed subscribing to Scrapbooking Kits over the years, and that's actually how I got most of my products into my space because the scrapbook stores weren't there. I don't like shopping online because I have a hard time seeing the fronts and the backs of scrapbook paper. That's just technically difficult online. The colors, and like I said, I like to touch things, and that doesn't happen online. So I turned to kits and the surprise element, and I started crafting in a way that was surprising to me because I would get things that I would think, what am I going to do with this? And while some of those things were still true, I did manage to incorporate a lot of stuff into my scrapbooks that I wouldn't have expected, so that had been good. We'll be talking about kit talk, things that I have built from the craft store, things that I've built online, kit companies that I've considered or maybe will get subscriptions to. And then along those lines, I'd like to talk about setting up a scrapbook kit for under 20 bucks, because I know this hobby can be really pricey and a lot of people can't necessarily afford it. And I know how much it means to me because when I'm going through my photos and thinking about my memories, it helps me with some of the depression that I have to remember all the good things. And so that is something that's very important to me, and memory keeping matters, and it doesn't have to be expensive. I enjoy beautiful things. I'm lucky that I can afford to purchase most of the beautiful things that I have, but I know not everybody can, so I'm hoping that maybe we can do a kit presentation that can be more affordable. And then I'm also going to do a segment called Use It or Lose It. I have, like many of you probably, more than I need. And I have spent the last few years paring things way down, which has been good, and donating them off to organizations, which has been good. I have a little bit of work to do to continue on that path. And so with the Use It or Lose It segment, I'm hoping to grab a few items and potentially build a kit around those, and then use it. And if I don't use it, then maybe I don't really need it, and it can go to another home for somebody who can use it and would enjoy it. I would like to do a segment called Gnosis, and that's my idea of diagnosing our scrapbook pages. And I'm just a mom. I don't work in the industry. I'm not a designer. I haven't taken many art classes. So all of the design tips and tricks to scrapbooking I have learned along the way. And so I'm always finding myself looking at a page going, there's something wrong here. And so maybe I'll share some of that journey with you, because I've noticed as I've learned terminology and some more formal ideas around design that I can look at a page later and go, oh, here's what's wrong. And I don't usually fix them because I don't care that much. I enjoyed the process. It's in my book. I've saved the photo. I've saved the memory. So the design being perfect isn't my main goal. But like I said, I do enjoy pretty things. I do enjoy prettiness. And looking at those elements that went wrong last time can help the next page be that much better. I'm hoping to do some product comparisons. Once upon a time in my college life, I heard of this organization called Consumer Reports, and I thought this was the best thing ever, to compare things and see what works and what doesn't, and put that information out there for other people to get an idea about products on the market. And like I said, because these products can be pricey, you want to buy an ink pad and they cost $7 or $8, but you're not sure if you're going to like, product X's white ink pad versus product Y's white ink pad. So how do you know? I would like to do a series called By Hand. I do some fine art. It's not much, and my skill is small, let's say. But I enjoy it as long as I can look at my mistakes and say, hey, I'm learning something. But I have, let's see if I can bring these in here. I have a couple of pieces of artwork, and this has become a style that I really enjoy with watercolor. Is one of my favorite things. I fell in love with watercolor 25 years ago. And then what I've learned is that if you do silhouettes, your art skill doesn't have to be quite so good because it hides a lot of the detail. And so this is my style that I've landed on. So I've got a couple of pieces. These ones are hanging in my kids' bathroom. And so I'm hoping to do some of these by hand for you, with you. You could do it along with me. And I'll show you some of the things I've figured out about those. And then finally, and of course these are in no particular order, I'd like to do a segment called Finish That Project. I have got a shelf of binders and boxes that have projects that I've started, not finished, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. So I'll have this segment where I pull out something, and hopefully you will too, and we'll just work on those together and maybe have some coffee or tea and sit and work on projects. So I am excited about this adventure. I am looking forward to sharing things, and I hope you will join me. I will see you in the next video.